post-abortion, and then the transfer of the Chinese settler inside Tibet, where Tibetan will be dissolved in the sea of Chinese settler. And then right now, the colonial boarding schools have new SFT Tawang chapter, which is also a very strategic location, right? And we have SFT Delhi chapters, who's now quite active. In SFT, see, I'm the new national director, and then two before me is also women. And right now, as the international executive director is also woman, Prema. Yeah, Prema. She's worked this much year, and now she's in exile, and she's not retiring. She's still going on and advocating for our movement. So that kind of inspiration I take, and in Tibet Forum, like we meet all the time. It was Arizal, like what's the whole name of the hall that
Teflas.
Teflas. Oh, sorry, yeah, Teflas. And then she asked me, Tenzin, are you going back to Tibet? And I was like, no, and it like kind of struck me, like I haven't seen Tibet, I don't know when I'll see Tibet. But she thought I'm going 1 week holiday to Tibet, and then we talked, and she thought Tibet is a small city.
Unsilenced, Voices of Young Tibetans is a podcast presented by the Foundation for Nonviolent Alternatives, where young Tibetans share their personal stories, experiences, opinions, and journey in exile. Tasdale, Namaste, and welcome to our FNVS podcast, Unsilenced, Voices of Young Tibetans. In today's episode, we'll be telling you about one of the biggest grassroots-based student body organization in the Tibetan diasporic community, how they function, what their goals are, and the very journey of the Tibetan who is currently leading the India National Director position of this very organization, which is the Students for a Free Tibet. Welcome to our show, Tenzin Passang.
Thank you for inviting me.
So, Pasang, firstly, could you tell us about what the genesis of Students for a Free Tibet is, and what was the story behind its formation, and what are the major initiatives that it undertakes?
Students for Free Tibet was founded in the year 1994. The story behind it is like in 1989, when His Holiness the Dalai Lama won the Nobel Peace Prize, it kind of garnered a lot of public attention, a lot of global attention toward the Tibetan freedom movement. But then there was no space for both Tibetan and non-Tibetan to work together toward the freedom movement. So that's how SFT came into being. Some young Tibetan, non-Tibetan activists and students came together and they founded SFT. And it's not chapter-based network all around the world. Since then, we have now chapters around in like 30 different countries and 600 plus chapters in schools, universities in the local area. And I am a national director at SFT India. SFT India was founded in the year 2000 with a similar goal. But we got India as a very strategic location because it shares border with Tibet. And as for the work that we do, first we always try to counter China's propaganda and policies. We try to do that through educating people, to grassroots organizing, to doing a lot of non-violent direct actions, and through like different strategic campaigns. We try to advocate for Tibetan freedoms and political freedom and Tibetan independence. And the second thing I would like to say is we try to advocate and also train young Tibetan activist youth around the world. We do different kind of programs, some annual programs, some like immediate program, to bring awareness about Tibetan issue and to let people know the importance of our movement.
So, Pasang, you rightly mentioned how SFT was founded in 1994. SFT India was founded in 2000, but there must be certain names behind these, right? So could you tell us the names behind these?
Sure, if I tell you like few of the names. SFT International was co-founded by the John Happer, who is right now Greenpeace International's Ocean Director. And for SFT India, there's a group of Tibetans. Kamal Sijila, who is right now artist, is also one of the co-founders. And there's Tenzin Passang, and then many more who also like co-founded SFT India also, and many more like Tibetan students at that time too.
Definitely, and I find a lot of Tibetan youngsters, continuing to found new SFT branches. Because recently, I think you met these Tibetans, right? the recently concluded Tibet Forum, where we had members coming from Netherlands, Rotterdam to be particular, a lady by the name of Tenzin. She is the founder of SFT Rotterdam, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. She and himself is also there, right?
Definitely. So, you've been leading SFT India for a while now. You're well aware of the atrocities that our Tibetan sisters and brothers undergo in occupied Tibet under the illegal colonial occupation of the PRC. What are the latest developments happening now and harrowing news that is coming from Tibet?
I've been leading SFT India. It's not even been 2 months, but yes, I've been a part of SFT for a long time. And it's true that the atrocity that's right now happening in Tibet, China is still pursuing this one policy where they try to obliterate the Tibetan's identity from all the front, right? Mass sterilization, forced abortion, and then the transfer of the Chinese settler inside Tibet, where Tibetan will be dissolved in the sea of Chinese settler. And then right now, the colonial boarding schools. And all the Tibetans, I can say all the Tibetans in Tibet is suffering from murders, they forced abortion, loss of their child, loss of their man, they were tortured, they were raped, and they were even they were silenced, right? And we, as a Tibetan in exile in a free country, it's our responsibility to do justice to them. And then all of them, even in such torture, they never stop fighting for the justice of Tibet and for Tibetan freedom movement.
Oh, indeed, Pasang. In such circumstances, what can we, the Tibetans who are not under their governments, under their strong arm tactics, who are free, living in the free world, do such an initiative that can help our very own Tibetan sisters and brothers?
Yeah, sure. The activism has no secret sauce or anything, but I would say right now the world, which is overflowing with information, to gather the attention toward our cause, we need to have some innovative approaches, right? So I would say we could use artistic expression like arts, music, the podcast like we do right now, and a lot of creative ways to spread the awareness about Tibetan issue to the public, and then it will try to get the global attention toward our movement. And I think that's what our young people can do. And I would say that whatever you do, how small it may seem, it's definitely going to contribute to the larger part of the movement. So never give up, and you can continue to do it.
Going along these very lines, you said to us very clearly that it's only been a few months since you have been leading the SFT India chapter. So, what are your ambitions? What are your current plans of SFT India moving ahead? And are there any new sort of innovative ideas that have come across your mind which you would like to implement? And on top of this, are there any challenges that you face while implementing these very initiatives?
Sure. Right now, our SFT India's goal, for past this year and maybe few years, is our grassroots. I say SFT is a chapter-based network, but then after the COVID, a lot of our grassroots has become inactive because of the COVID, of course. And then now we are trying to rebuild it. We are trying to get more connected with the grassroots base, and so that because our strength is our youth. It's our chapter, it's our strength, so we have to work on that. That's our goal. So we're doing all kind of innovative, or maybe the old way of doing. We try to reach to them, and that's our goal. And then recently we have new SFT Tawang chapter, which is also very strategic location, right? And we have SFT Delhi chapters, who's now quite active, and then we're trying to activate the existing chapters and find more chapters to go toward the movement.
Definitely, Pasang. And are there any sort of challenges? Because something that I usually hear, I think I can say it on record. We have this saying among the Tibetan community how certain families, for that matter, are working in well-established institutes, I think I can call it that. Like they sort of give the cry to our very Tibetan youngsters to not join in such organizations. Do you think this is like a major burden or a challenge to youngsters in partaking in such activities?
I would say the parents, they all want like bright future for their child, right? And I know working in SFTs is all the resilience and the determination that you have to have. So I can see why the parents want their child not to be part of such organization, but it's also very saddening because it's all of our responsibility. We have saying that born Tibetan is a born activist. That's what we say all the time, and that's true. That's a very big challenge that we face, because earlier we all we all think that Tibetan, as a Tibetan, they all want to work for our movement. So our focus is on non-Tibetan. But now we have to focus equally and even more on Tibetan nowadays than non-Tibetan too. And then we have to, whatever we plan, we have to focus on two fronts, Tibetan, non-Tibetan, how to get them involved in the movement. So that's one of the biggest challenges that we face.
So moving along, Passang, like you are a young woman in our Tibetan diaspora community, and you're also someone who, I can say it, like who beat cancer for that matter. And there are numerous challenges that a Tibetan woman faces in our embedded patriarchal system. So what are the challenges that you have faced, and how did you overcome them?
I would say it's true, the traditional gender roles and expectation is always there, right? It may somehow kind of restrict our freedom of maybe our expression and our opportunity. But for me, luckily, I would say in the SFTC, I'm the new national director, and then two before me is also women. And right now, SFT International Executive Director is also woman, Prema. Yeah, Prema. So SFT is right now is ruling by women, if I would say, if it's not wrong. But I won't say I face challenges as a woman much, but yes, it's true that as a young Tibetan woman, I would have to prove myself more than other. I would have to earn the respect rightfully, because I have to prove my determination. I have to prove my capability to the world and to my colleagues and other activists too. That's there. But as for the battling cancer, it's true. Battling cancer can be emotionally, physically draining. Recovery process is also very straining. But I always try to find the strength from my inner resilience, my determination, and blessed to have a supportive network of friends, family, and colleagues who understand me, who understand our struggle and movement. And I would say to the other, I also take inspiration from the strong Tibetan women from Tibet. For example, Ngawang Samjula, you know her, right? Ngawang Samjula was in Tibet. She participated in peaceful protest at 10 years old and been detained. 13 years old, she participated again and detained for like 6 months, I think. And then 16 years old, and so on. And she was sentenced for like combined 23 years in prison. And I met her last year when we organized a public talk of Ngawang Samjula, and then there's also Golok Jigme. And then she gave the talk, and that's a very inspiring thing. She suffered this much year, and now she's in exile, and she's not retiring. She's still going on and advocating for our movement. So that kind of inspiration I take, and through them I always feel like I can do more, and it's my responsibility to do more.
Definitely, Passang. And not only Ngawang Samjula, like there are kids of India, there are people
yes.
A lot of political prisoners who were, treated harshly, assaulted, sentenced in a way that was beyond the law in occupied Tibet, and who come to exile and share their tales to us Tibetans, like someone like me. I'm not born in Tibet. I've never seen Tibet for that matter, but listening to their very own experience sort of ignites the fire in the belly. It sort of inspires us to take the next step. So definitely, Passang.
True. Even I'm born here in India. My parents is also born in India. I'm third generation here. I've never seen Tibet, and hearing their stories kind of like you ignite the fires in me too.
Definitely, Passang. So moving along, talking about your personal life for that matter, like we were together at JNU a few years back before the COVID pandemic hit us, and I also was privileged enough to work together with you at the JNU Tibet Forum as executive. So what I wanted to ask you was, do you think that studying in JNU sort of had a major impact in your current disposition and to your development? And also on top of this, do you think more Tibetans need to study not only in JNU but various prestigious institutions around the world?
Yes, definitely. JNU has left a huge imprint on me because I studied my bachelor in DU, and I won't say DU is bad, but then I personally haven't really learned much from my classes. I won't blame the teachers; it's all on myself. But yes, I at that time I was more involved with activism. I'm more involved with knowing what's actually happening in Tibet. It's my learning process at that time, uh, and but in JNU, I like the culture of relationship between the professors and students, like two entity relations. And in Tibet Forum, like we meet all the time. In what's ISL? Like, what's the whole name of the hall that
Teflas.
Teflas. Oh, sorry, yeah, Teflas. And we debate a lot, right? We do a lot of quiz. We debate on current issue, current political issue, on the books, on the thinkers that we learned. And I debated a lot with seniors, PhD scholars, and then it kind of made me want to study, like further, and make me want to like read the things not only for the exam, but like for the knowledge. So that's definitely there, and I would recommend all of the Tibetan to join the prestigious university. And then if you want to join JNU, I will also recommend JNU.
Definitely, Passang. And adding more on your Teflas thing, like I think I can add that some of the debates even go as long as early morning, and
yeah.
Going back to bed would be like hearing the birds chirp. So
yeah.
nostalgic memories, but something that really uptakes us Tibetans and makes us do more. So Passang, on all, like you've narrated a lot of things, you've shared your own story, the activities of SFT. Based on all this, what was the main reason that pushed you, or even should I say, like led you to join SFT in the first place?
Oh yeah. So when I was a child, I saw a lot of protests that's happening in exile, especially in 2008. There's a lot of candlelight vigils in Dharamsala. I know a basic idea, like Tibet being occupied in 1959, and like we are refugee. We always say that there's Alana for every time in school, right? But and then in college, that's the eye-opening moment for me. When at that time we have Hakka movement, right? One of my favorite movements. And I wear chupa every Wednesday. Even now I do. So to college I also wear chupa. And then a lot of my Indian friends will ask me about my chupa, and then I get to interact with them about Tibet. But I realized that I don't really know much, like especially not about like the situation inside Tibet, about the political prisoner, the campaigns, the ongoing campaigns, the news about Tibet. I just know the basic facts only. And then this one moment when one of my Indian friends asked me, we have a term break after exam, right? Like a week term break. And then she asked me, Tenzin, are you going back to Tibet? And I was like, no. And it like kind of struck me, like I haven't seen Tibet. I don't know when I'll see Tibet. But she thought I'm going 1 week holiday to Tibet. And then we talked, and she thought Tibet is a small city in India. That's what she thought. And we were political science students. And then that time it made me realize that if I don't advocate for my country, it's my responsibility. And then no one will know about Tibet. I went back that evening and I joined SFT. And then I learned things, I learned, unlearned, and I did a lot of protests, a lot of advocacy, and then being part of SFT since then. I think it's 2015. Since then, I've been part of SFT. And even now, too, I see it.
Definitely, Passang, and it's really inspiring to hear such tales of a young Tibetan realizing what they have to do. And you called out what happened during the 2008 event, and I also remember in school, like I didn't know much about all this happening, but we as youngsters were not forced, but we shaped our head by ourselves. It was a sign of protest, so I don't know. These things were also happening. So on that note, I think we're short on time or something. So I can finally say that whether you have any special words or messages that you would like to share to our fellow Tibetans worldwide, the plethora of Tibet supporters, and also to all those amazing Tibetan movements out there, many of whom you rightly pointed out, who are doing good things.
I would say that, as I told earlier, activism has no source, no secret source. It's just a bunch of people who decide to show up and use their skill sets, what they know, to kind of reach the goal of film, goal justice, and then the Instagram photos and videos of people giving speeches during protests is not. It's just a small part of activism, right? There's a lot of people who walk behind the camera, and I think we should all applaud them, support them, and respect, appreciate them. But the sad thing is, not many people are involved in the activism. And I will request all the Tibetan, non-Tibetan both, who are in free country, who are housed, who have time, and who are free, should, and I request you to be part of the movement, give your skills for a better cause, for the justice of Tibet, and I will say all the remarkable women out there, your resilience, your determination, your uniqueness is your strength, is your greatest asset. Never give up, and you can rise above whatever is seeking to bring you down. You can challenge the challenges.
So on that note, I thank you so much, Passang. I wish you and your whole SFT India team a lot of successes, and I can see what sort of activities you are doing, and it's really inspiring for me, and I believe a lot of other Tibetan youth out there, and I hope that many of them can follow in your footsteps and work around to eventually resolve the Tibet-China conflict and celebrate a good sort of picnic, a get-together in the lawns of the Unveiling.
I hope so too. In the near future, I really hope to be in Tibet, in a free Tibet.
Okay. Thank you.
For more updates and videos by FNVA, click on the link and please subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.